Welcome everybody to the Roots Rundown. Today is January 29th, 2026. And folks, it feels like it was this past year has been a crazy shitstorm of a sandwich. And it's, when I mean the past year, I mean the last week of January. It felt like it's been either a shit tornado or a shit sandwich or a tornado filled with shit sandwiches. I don't know. Or maybe two shit tornadoes sandwiching you together. And today we're going to be talking about a little more cultural things that I think, as we always say on this show, it's I think this country has a cultural problem first and then a political problem second, and one usually informs the other. So I'm glad that folks show up today to the Radical Roots. It's been going good. You know, the show's been growing. We've been able to get more guests lined up. We've got folks signing up for inside the chat. We've got people donating. We've got people sharing and making sure that they're liking and subscribing. So with that being said, let me be a good capitalist. I'm sure my mic is. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Radical Roots podcast. This is how we stay independent and make sure we get the news directly to you through a black and brown lens. We want to make sure that we are able to maintain this platform and get you all the cushy goodness that comes a part of the Radical Roots platform. Here is our QR code at the beginning. I was told to have this up here for at least 10 seconds. I'm actually going to double that. I'm going to leave up here for 20 seconds. So if you guys could, whenever you're watching this, if you could scan this and donate a couple bucks, it helps. It goes a long way. It helps us with the show. It helps us be able to, again, pay for some of this stuff because this is all free. But again, any help we do, this is how we start to build those muscles up of mutual aid, build those muscles up of community, build those muscles up of, each one can help one. And this is how we get there, right? Platforms like this, we take time out of our day with the Radical Roots to try to inform people, to try to give it from our perspective, because you can get 1,000 white boys with a podcast mic, or 1,000 black dudes who think women are the problem with a podcast mic. But talking about politics and talking about it through an intersectional lens and talking about it through a politics that is rooted in universal human rights is very rare. So please, if you guys like this type of content, and we're not some rich guys who are sitting in some lofty apartment up in San Diego or New York City, please make sure you support the Radical Roots. And this is how we grow this thing. So I'll get this off the screen because I feel icky. Capitalism, not a big fan of it. But yeah, so please make sure you like, share, subscribe to Radical Roots. I'm kind of coming down off my sickness. I don't know if you guys could tell the past couple episodes. I'm very nasally in general, but I've been extra nasally. I don't know if you guys have kids or loved ones out there who are in and out. My kids have been bringing all kind of shit into the house. So I'm finally getting over. I'm finally being able to breathe out of my nose, and that feels good. Yes. Thank you. Yes, the shirt, care for people, defund the police, and there's actually an acronym on the back. I would show y'all that, but I don't have any pants on. That's not true. But I would show you the acronym. There's just too much going on, and I don't know if I'd properly get it correctly, but yes, it's each letter stands for a community. It's community, awareness, responsiveness, and I forget what the E stands for. Who looks at the back of their shirts? But yes, thank you for the compliment, Lorena. Yes. So folks, If you've been paying attention over the past 24 hours, we try to make sure we bring you the stuff on the Roots Rundown that is fresh. We've had our favorite Young Money sellout. It's funny how the entire YMCMB, if you guys aren't familiar with that was like in the early, in the early aughts of Lil Wayne's, Cash Money, his own sort of a thing. The entire YMCMB ended up being fucking losers. From Drake being a 40-year-old, basically certified lover boy, certified pedophile. That's what Kendrick said. Wop, 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 wop. But, out here trying to track down Millie Bobby Brown, pushing these gambling bets on young kids where he's making money and now he's getting sued and he's potentially going to be under fire. And of course, him just losing to Kendrick and being just this truly big ass pussy. You got Tyga being a pedophile, dating Kendall Jenner, I believe, when she was like 16 and he was in his 20s. You got, half the YMCMB is either broke because of the deal they sold, because of the deal they signed. It's ridiculous. And then of course you get at the top, creme de la creme, Nicki Minaj. This was Lil Wayne's flagship artist, and she's out here. President Trump, we're gonna play the clip here in a second. President, I'm his #1 fan. What does that mean at a time where we've seen multiple people murdered on the street in his name for his white supremacist goal? What does that mean for you? And of course we found out what that meant on the back end. But then you get folks out here who are trying to defend it and saying, oh, it's okay that she's doing that because we all have political opinions. This is not about political opinions anymore. This is about, do you stand for humanity or do you stand against humanity? That's it. There's no other sort of binary that really makes sense anymore. I mean, really, none of this is about republicanism. If anything, this is, if I was a part of the January 6th insurrection, this is the world that I want to live in with my orange God King. That's ultimately what this whole movement is these are failed sons. These are white supremacists. These are sexist. These are rapists. These are child predators. And when you realize the connective tissue that most people who are racist are also pedophiles, you start to make sense of why the party that is primarily the white man's party would defend a pedophile, and why a pedophile would be their God King, why someone who would be so morally bereft would be elected to the highest office in the land, dare I say the most powerful job in the world. But Nicki Minaj has been on this kind of a sojourn, if you will. She's been going on about her life. I think she's been losing relevancy over the past few years. I think when Cardi B hit the stage, she was like, oh, she couldn't stand that. In fact, she's actually beefed with everybody. If you think about it, there's probably nobody she hasn't beefed with. Remember, she had beef with Miley Cyrus. Y'all remember that? Remember, she was at the VMAs or something. She was like, Miley, what's good? And that was the whole thing. This is like maybe 12, 15 years ago. And people were like, you beefing with Miley's Hannah Montana? But that's who she sees herself in that image of this someone who can never accept that other people are also in the orbit. And of course, then we have the latent facts of who she surrounds herself with, who her family is, and her current status within this country. As a lot of people are afraid, it's very much, I'm going to pull the ladder up behind me because bitches ain't shit and they ain't saying nothing. So starting off, here is y'all favorite rapper's favorite rapper, Onika. I believe her government name is. Here she goes. I mean, if she just has not learned to just shut the fuck up and go away. But here she is.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going.
Why didn't you storm the Capitol for him? Why didn't you, why don't you go out here and why don't you go join ICE for him? This is how fucking stupid the MAGA base is. They're, woo! You love him more than us. Even though there's no proof of that. What?
Going to change, and the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to.
Again, it motivates me to support him more. Don't forget, in a fascist regime, the authoritarian leader then becomes the state. So when the authoritarian leader says they are coming after our country is a disgrace. Again, don't forget, these are always insecure men. So when Trump says that, he's talking about himself. So when she's saying they're coming after him, he's going to then internalize that to be like, well, she's saying our country, they're coming after our country, and allows for this nationalistic viewpoint to become more legitimized. I just want to point that out because she is, I mean, at this point, she is a willful participant in our collective downfall. And I hate people like this.
To let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work. Okay? He has a lot.
What's the smear campaign? What is the smear campaign, Nicki? Are they facts? Are they facts? And this is what conservative logic does. It's whatever facts I don't like, therefore are not true. And then they try to blame everybody else for doing the exact same thing because they can't believe that other people actually believe in things and have facts and back it up. And this is how they get to stay in their bubble. And what she also does is she allows her black skin and her womanness to be a shield for racism, to be a shield for sexism, to be a shield for misogynoir. Because if she's telling these fucking, Billy Goat ass people in the audience that, they're coming after him and it's not going to work, they get to then lean back and be like, it's not going to work. Even though this shit is unpopular, even though people are in the streets in the hundreds of thousands, even though other countries like in Scotland are calling Trump a fascist, at their podiums. So when she's saying this is meant to be a solve for people who honestly have never wanted to look at reality.
Of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
I don't want no part of that God. I don't want no part of that fucking God. If there's a God that's protecting this piece of shit, this rapist, this murderous, this racist, then y'all need to get a new religion. If this man who is lying on people to after they're extrajudicially murdered in the street and getting called a fucking bitch, and people saying boo hoo after they get a whole clip dumped on him in the name of this orange orangutan, that is who God is looking after, then we need a new fucking religion. And y'all need a new religion. I ain't a part of it. But this is the shit she's trafficking in. Did I do good, boss? Did I do good? Did I do good, boss? Boss man? And people ask me, Payron, how is a black person, how is a Latino person, how is a woman, how is a queer person supporting this? And I remind people, anybody that's a sellout, there's one common connective tissue. They always sell out on the cheap. They always sell out on the cheap. Right? So we find out that she's probably doing this stuff. You get someone like a Pete Hegseth. He's got a bunch of fucking shit in his closet. That's who the mafioso kind of goes after. And Michael Cohen, he wasn't a great lawyer, but they're gonna use him because they know that he can't get a job nowhere else to get paid as much, and he'll be an attack dog. Pete Hegseth, he's got all these domestic assaults and being a drunkard and cheater and philanderer. Well, we can hold that over him, and he'll be an attack dog for our white supremacist political ends, right? Nicki Minaj, she's losing relevancy. I'll say whatever you want to your base, Orange Daddy Trump. Please, I'll glaze you in front of everybody because bitches ain't shit and they ain't said nothing. A couple motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. And the thing is, she's telling those people they can't tell me nothing. Sounds like another person who I'll talk about tomorrow. Made a little note here. Kanye West. Oh yeah, he's back. He's back, but in a bad way. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. But here she goes after she walks away from the podium, and at the time she didn't know. Do I get off the stage? What do I do? Did I do good, boss? And here she goes here, and this is where Trump, in a very sick way, will not let go of her hand. Oh. Should I? Should I?
Okay.
Me? Is it?
Thank you.
Am I
Thank
used
you.
up?
On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because we create 72% of the jobs. Companies 5 to 500 employees.
And shut the fuck up, Mr. Wonderful. Whoever gave him that name needs to be thrown directly into the sun. He is not wonderful, and he's barely a mister. But look at this shot here. We have Nicki Minaj's, shitty press-on nails. She probably can't find nobody to do her fucking nails no more. Next to Donald, let me zoom in here. Next to, okay, I can see that on the bigger screen. But next to Donald Trump's, his Play-Doh plastic makeup on his fucking hand, and she's got her press-on nails clacking into that shit with his skin so thin that it's slicing, according to him, that it bumped up against the table. That's why that happened. It bumped up against the table. And this is the image of unity that they want y'all to believe is this is a symbol. This is a symbol of man and woman, black and white, fame, riches. And they're both adjacent to child sex traffickers. They're both in proximity or participate in child sex trafficking and child rape. These are our leaders. When I'm not saying people should do this, but like Aaron Bushnell, who set himself ablaze in front of the Israeli embassy in DC, he said, "This is what those who basically run our country want us to believe is normal now. This is what they want y'all to believe is normal. Look at this fake ass still. Look at this shit. His disgusting, decrepit hand that grabs pussy, all of a sudden is able to grab her fucking hand." Yeah, so it said it covers up the jaundice. Exactly. Disgusting. These people are disgusting. And that's right, Lorena, along with the dementia. These people are fucking sick. And they want you to, again, what is power? Power is the ability to rewrite reality and to get other people to believe it. They want you to believe this is real. They want you to believe this is what joy and happiness looks like, not a fucking hostage video. My God. Not healthy at all. Slurring of speech. I mean, I can't wait for Jake Tapper's book on this. Remember Jake Tapper had the book about Biden? What was it called? The worst crime or some shit like that, or some stupid shit. Where's that Jake Tapper book now? Where's his next book on Donald Trump, where he's shitting himself and people said they could smell it? He shits himself, and people smell it. It ran down the couch at Fox News. It's on tape. Fox and Friends in the morning. He's sitting there with his, he does the thing with his hands. If you look, he's sitting there, and you can see the other Fox hosts. They're reacting to him shitting on the couch. He can't control his bowels. You think he can control the country? This is ridiculous, y'all. Let's see. Lorena says he is not. That's why I believe it's a Republican coup. They are biting at the hand that bit them. Just behind the scenes of who will take over. Maybe. I think they're using Trump as this figurehead. Same way Nicki Minaj is using Trump for her ends. I think there is this, unfortunately, since we never dealt with the Confederates the right way. This is a hundreds-year plan to roll back everything to the 50s, not the 1950s, but the 1850s, to pre-Civil War. And since white America could never look at itself in the mirror and say, you know what, there are enemies within, as Abraham Lincoln said, we will, united we stand, divided we fall. A house cannot stand with two different factions within inside of it. We never dealt with them. We let them, after the Civil War, get back into positions of power. We gave them back their power in the South in the 1877 Tilden Hayes Compromise in 1877. where they pulled out all the federal troops of the South and basically gave the power back to those who were just recently fighting against the United States of America, because it was not the Civil War. It was the United States versus the Confederacy, and language matters. We never took care of the Confederacy. The people who went to war had the bloodiest war to make sure that they can keep people like myself and Onika here in bondage. And now this picture right here doesn't show you she is still in bondage. But I guess she got a residency card. There's a bunch of funny pictures of her like holding up, like, well, guys, I got this. I got a residency card, and it's like gold and shit. It's got Trump's face on it with his stupid ass fucking scowl. And she's like, I got this, guys. And that's what it's for. Again, when people sell their souls, it's always on the cheap. It's always on the cheap. You've never seen someone sell out and they win. There is no retirement plan for coons. There is no retirement plans for coconuts or whatever other ethnicities have for their sellouts. There is no retirement plan. Look at Bobby Jindal. He was the governor of Louisiana and he tried to run for president. Where the fuck is he? Look at Nimrata. Look at Nikki, the other Nikki Haley. Where the fuck is she at? Look at, look at Herman Cain. He dead as hell. He dead as shit. And he died in the name of Trump. He died in the name of Trump. At that rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the ancestors said, Negro, that soul is going back into the fucking earth. So there is no retirement plan for sellouts. There isn't one. And people will learn. Or they won't. Or they won't. But I guarantee you, just like how I'll talk about tomorrow, that once the heat gets too hot, oh, I've seen the light. I shouldn't have done this. And, I was under duress, and I needed to get my citizenship. I saw what ICE was doing, even though technically I have all this money. I could just go back to Trinidad, where I'm from. If it's all like that, I got all this money. Or I can move to Europe. But no, I chose to espouse racism. I chose to align with the wife of the man who said that I'm a bad influence on people that look just like me. That's what I chose to do. But I'm sorry, guys. Please embrace me. The same way we're going to tell Kanye West tomorrow. We're going to tell Onika, you can eat a bag of dicks. I don't know how you're going to eat the bag of dicks. I don't know if it's a bag of dicks and you're going to eat one dick at a time, or if you can eat the whole bag of dicks. I don't really know, nor do I care, but you can eat a bag of dicks, Onika. So we've seen this act of cowardice. And also this week, we've seen some bravery from another person who was not born in this country, but now is here representing for Black women. And that's Minnesota Rep. Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. If you guys did not see this clip, I'm going to play here in a second here, but Ilhan Omar is giving a speech. And I think it's very poignant of the words that she said right before she was attacked. She was accosted by this half-eaten sandwich of a white man. And her final words before he gets up and makes his declaration of violence is that Kristi Noem needs to be impeached, because she knows that the reason ICE is in Minneapolis, the reason why these masked Confederates, slave catchers, Klansmen, Gestapo, secret police, whatever you want to call them, are here is because of a racist lie, because of that fucking piece of shit YouTuber, podcaster, I don't know what the fuck he is, Nick Shirley, lying about Somali daycare fraud, which was already under investigation under the Biden administration that was ran by a white woman. So it's all premised off a lie that immigration and customs enforcement can start murdering people on the streets and be taken away. Just, you have to say stop calling them ICE, because when you call them ICE, it legitimizes the paramilitary of what they are. This is immigrations and customs enforcement. And then your brain should say, that doesn't make sense, because why should immigrations and customs enforcement have guns? Why should immigrations and customs enforcement be able to tell a United States citizen to get out their car, show me your papers? We live in a papers, please society. Excuse me? A papers, please society? So Ilhan Omar was at the podium standing on fucking business. And this is what happened.
to resign or face impeachment? I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
No,
We will continue.
no. Ilhan, you need to go get checked. No,
We will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away
you
with
need
it.
to go get checked. No, you don't know what.
That is strength. That is strength. She didn't cower. She didn't run away. She didn't be whisked off. And of course, when Trump said that, his response to this was, I think it was staged. I think she sprayed herself. Again, what is power? Power is the ability to rewrite reality and get other people to believe it. I think she did it to herself. I think she did that. I think she sprayed herself with I think she did it. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? It was totally staged, because what happened was her security unit pulled her just out of frame enough where an American flag edged down, where she put her fist up and said, "Fight, fight, fight." Yeah, totally staged like that. Totally staged. And for someone to be so narcissistic like Trump, you would think that he would still be talking about this. You would think he would still be talking about, oh, I dodged that bullet. That guy in Butler, PA. What was his name? Thomas Crooms. What was his fucking name? The kid that shot Trump. Thomas Crooks. Thomas Crooks. But just like, all these people, what are they? So let's look at the guy who did this. Let's look at him, folks. Let's see what he is. Is he a leftist? Is he a part of the Somalis? Is he a part of the why is it over here? Sorry. Oh, it won't let me to share it. Oh, come on. Let me see if y'all can see this here. Because it was a good photo of the fucking guy. Piece of shit. Let's see. Chrome tabs. I'm still learning the technology, y'all. So please, if you could just give me a slight second. Let's see. Oh, it says it can't show it. Dang, it says it can't do screen share. All right, well, I'll just read to you, because y'all have seen a picture of what he looks like, but I'll just read to you his profile, because this is very important for us to understand. His name is Anthony Kazmierzak. He's 55. He was arrested in Minneapolis on January 27, 2026, after attacking Representative Ilhan Omar. Of course, you guys can probably understand he's divorced, unemployed, and with 2 DUIs, while also receiving disability payments. And a lot of times the right likes to tell us that it's immigrants and they're taking our taxpayer funds and they're causing chaos and threats to democracy, when it's always a half-eaten sandwich of a white man. It's always a right-wing radicalized person. Don't forget, I'm going to say this as frequently as possible, the same type of person that shot Melissa Hortman and her husband, Charlie Kirk, Renee Good, Keith Porter, Alex Preddy, every school shooting, this fucking asshole here, January 6th, it's always a radicalized white man. They must always think that the biggest villain is someone else. Ilhan Omar is fighting for the rights of all of us. And all they can do is lie. All they can do is lie. And since I can't screen share, I'm going to share this other. So then after that, after this assault on Rep Ilhan Omar. And y'all notice she's about to nuck. She's about to buck. You know, y'all nuck if you buck, boy. He nucked, and she was about to buck. She had that fist ready. She's like, look, don't get into don't try black women. Okay. Don't do it. And the analogy I give is because black people are Bruce Banner as the Hulk. If you guys remember on the movie The Avengers, I'm such a nerd, but if you guys remember in The Avengers, when Bruce Banner shows up to fight in the final scene in New York, and Captain America says, "Oh, Bruce, you might want to get mad," and he looks back and says, "I'm always mad." We are always simmering. But we know how to handle it, and that also does cause stress and cortisol levels to rise, and actually gives us high hypertension and high blood pressure and heart disease. But we walk around with that shit all day, because you got to keep your head on the swivel. You never know when the motherfucker gonna try to come at you with some sounds like it was apple cider vinegar. I don't know what the point of that is. I don't know if there's some sort of symbolic reason for apple cider vinegar, but this is what she said when her security was trying to rush her off. Miss Omar, visibly shaken after the assault, insisted to her staff and security that she would continue. She asked for a napkin and told them, "Just give me 10 minutes, I beg you. Please, don't let them have the show." Miss Omar then turned to the crowd. "Here's the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand," she said. "We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us." Someone in the crowd later thanked Miss Omar for staying and continuing after the assault, which had shaken not only her, but the entire room. And she had said here at the end, "I learned at a young age, you don't give in to threats. Don't forget, she fled Somalia when it was war-torn as a child. She knows what it's like. She gets it." And Emma Vigeland from the Majority Report, she tweeted on top of this and said, "This is the kind of fearless politician that a competent party would embrace." Instead, Nancy Pelosi formally rebuked her for criticizing Israel, smearing her as an anti-Semite, and the Zionist Biden administration opened an investigation into her finances that went nowhere. When we talk about a captured opposition, or an opposition that is unable to fight fascism because itself is fascist or itself upholds soft white nationalism, this is what we're talking about. Because there is no proof that she's a bad person. There is no proof that she's working against us. There is proof that there's been a targeted campaign against her, that her life's in danger, and she did not back down. But we keep thinking people like Trump is strong. Not we. Yeah, when I say we, I mean talk about the white America. We'll always say, look, John Wayne's strong. He was a fucking coward. He was a coward and a racist and a bigot, but that's in our mind, is drilled in there. That there's these brave white men. The white men are always on the other end of the violence, causing the violence. Political violence. She learned at a young age, you don't back down from threats, and she did not. So in a world, as today's title is, in a world full of Nicki Minajs, be an Ilhan Omar. But, you know, the fallout from ICE has, as we stay in Minnesota, the fallout from ICE has been, you know, even more dramatic. Steve here, 100%. He says, Nancy Pelosi is part of the problem. No question. No question. Shoykot, I think that's the brother's name, that's running for her seat. Very progressive, calls out the genocide, really good politics. He was a staffer for AOC. He's running for that seat. So this show will be supporting someone like a Shoykot out of San Francisco, right? Yeah, he's independently wealthy, you know, so he got on with some tech company, but he's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat. But yeah, you know, as we say in Minnesota, you know, it's funny. The right wing has really tried their best to bring down the feelings that people are having about ICE being in the streets, right? But you know, one thing that I'd like to say is, though, we're constitutional. Mike Johnson, right, with his rubber ducky speaker's gavel. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a constitutional lawyer. The ICE has broken, and the right wing has broken pretty much all of our rights. And I was just thinking about, so I pulled a list up here of like, what are the rights that ICE has infringed upon, right? So, our First Amendment right, the right to protest, the right to assemble, the right to freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and freedom to petition your government. So you can't speak out on ICE because I don't know if you guys saw that video of that guy who said, if you raise your voice, I erase your voice. So no freedom of speech. You cannot speak to your government because that's what ICE is. ICE are government agents. Freedom of religion, we know that is way out of the way because we've got people like Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth and what's her name? She was running for governor in New York. What's her name? Trump's lackey. She was in the House, but she was talking about how there's a war on Islam, or Islam is there's a war on the West, and also this kind of this bigotry has kind of been going around since dare I say the 80s. So there is no freedom of religion. In fact, they want you to have one religion, their version of Christianity, the Klan's version of Christianity, the colonizers' version of Christianity. That if we do it, it is therefore right. And if you don't understand it, that's because you don't understand because God works in mysterious ways. That is the level of Christianity that this country, they want you to have, say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays. We don't give a fuck about your other holidays. We don't give a shit about your oppression because guess what? For us, if we just repent or if we just think that we're doing what's right, we are okay. One version of religion. Freedom of the press, we have press being smoke bombed and tear gassed and threatened with the Ku Klux Klan act like Don Lemon. Freedom of the press, gone. Freedom of assembly, gathering, that's gone as well. Oh, you can't stand here. You can't come together as a group. We knew that as Black people. There was laws that more than two Black people couldn't come together. So these rights are gone. Now, the Second Amendment, which I've always thought was, for them sacrosanct, right? That the Second Amendment could never be edited, could never be infringed upon, because I might need my guns in case the government gets tyrannical. I have to shoot the government. I want to protect myself. They would never say that. That was the subtext. That I'm going to shoot the government because I don't play about mine, even though the government had to give the licensure to the company to make the guns to make sure the gun would be functional in a free market society. It's not really free market because they're picking winners and losers. But don't worry about all that. I need my gun. Now they're saying having a gun at a protest, you can have that gun taken off of you and then murdered in the street. So that Second Amendment, gone. Gone. They gave it away for MAGA. No quartering of soldiers. Restricts the government from forcing citizens to house soldiers in their homes during peacetime. I mean, you have soldiers, ultimately, these are, paramilitaries, basically being sleeper cells across the country. The Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, that's totally gone. Show me your papers. Show me your papers. We came out last week. We don't even need a judicial warrant. They do, but they're creating their own rules. We don't need that. We get to kick in your fucking door because you're brown and you have an accent. And I just feel like it because daddy didn't love me and I can't get laid. So I'm going to kick in your door. I'm going to terrorize your children. I'm going to put pepper balls in your eye where you go blind. I'm going to rape your women. I'm going to kidnap your children. Get out the car. I have no jurisdiction over you. Get out the car. This is what they're expecting from us. Gone. The Fifth Amendment, due process. Gone. Oh, I could just look at you and just tell you you're guilty because I am an illiterate Nazi who doesn't even read at a fifth grade level like the majority of Americans. I'm on the other side. I'm even less than that. And I have a gun charge myself. I have a domestic assault charge myself. I have a battery charge myself. I have a hate crime charge myself. And you must listen to me. Just because I feel like it. Just because I feel like looking at you and thinking you're the fucking problem. The Sixth Amendment. The Sixth and Seventh Amendment, that's about a speedy trial and having an impartial jury. Gone. Because Renee Good and Alex Preddy and Keith Porter will never get a trial. So you may not even make it to trial. Now, these are all things Black people have been experiencing. This is why Martin Luther King said, I had seen on some paper somewhere there was a First Amendment. I had seen somewhere that was who he was talking about. He was saying he was trying to pull this country to live up to its professed ideals. But what did they say about him? 73% of Americans in 1966 thought Martin Luther King was a troublemaker and he was doing harm to their cause, a cause that they hated. Then after he died, even more white people hated him. And it wasn't until 2011, when 93% of white people had a favorable view of Martin Luther King, when we had the Black president. All of a sudden, they found religion. I think that Martin Luther King guy was onto something. I think he had dreams and colors and skins and contrasts and continuity characters. I agree with that. It wasn't until 2011 that it went from 73% of white people thinking Martin Luther King was a troublemaker and someone that is harmful to civil rights and does worse for Black people and does worse for oppressed people. And then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, in 2011, 93% said, oh, we found Jesus. This is the unseriousness of when Black people say, we can't trust y'all. We don't know who is the right one. So yeah, I just want to just touch on that. To like just going through the first 7 amendments, they are actively not following their own constitutional. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Y'all pussies. But even more so. So there were 7 Democrats that crossed over with Republicans, as you guys remember. One of ours being Don Davis here in North Carolina, the only Black person in here of the 7. But Tom Suozzi, who used to be a Republican, he's a Democratic lawmaker. He got interrupted. And I posted this on my Facebook, and I do that on purpose because I know there's some folks from the party writ large that still follow me, or they still look at my stuff, because I've been able to be a little more free now that I'm no longer the chair of the Democratic Party. But I said the Democratic Party, Don Davis absolutely deserves this sort of being contested in public life. He needs to be challenged. He needs to be protested every single day, because whatever happens after that vote, because he voted in the very next day Alex Preddy was murdered. So whatever happens post his vote is on his fucking hands. And people were like, no, don't, you're being anti-Black. Don't say that about him. You're being anti-Black. What? He's a grown ass man, and he has the balance of life and death in his hands with his vote. I don't give a shit if he's Black. I don't give a shit if someone's trans or someone's queer. If you are using your power to align with the white supremacist ideology and ends, then you are my enemy too, and I will fight you too. I don't give a fuck who you are. But this is what happened to Tom Suozzi in New York.
9 people were killed by ICE this month, and you're throwing me out while I'm reading their names? How fucking dare you!
Suozzi, I know you voted to increase ICE funding, so I wanted to get something for you. This is an adult diaper for when you pee yourself. You're the type of leader we need right now, someone who soils themselves with ashes.
I didn't know we were doing gifts up top. I actually also have some gifts. I have some knee pads for you. You can use these while you blow Donald Trump.
I just would like to say really quick, as a Jewish man, I have never felt safer than when there is a masked Gestapo in the street.
Tell Good you made a mistake. Tell Alex Preddy you made a mistake in expanding
Nobody could have predicted that ICE would have been killing innocent people. The only way we can fight anti-Semitism is by aligning ourselves with white supremacists.
Alex Peretti, Renee Good, Keith Porter. I'm reading names of people killed by ICE. You're gonna touch me? You're gonna touch me? Alex Peretti, Renee Good, Keith Porter, Parody Law. These people were killed by ICE this month. Are you're gonna throw me out? These people, 9 people were killed by ICE this month, and you're throwing me out while I'm reading their names? How fucking dare you?
Thank you.
When you have Democrats like that, what's the point of Republicans? Who needs Republicans? When you have Democrats like that, who needs Republicans? And I got into a very interesting conversation with someone, an ally, who, again, I know a lot of our white friends are on their journey right now of unlearning, unpacking white supremacy, and they're trying to work towards being anti-racist. And I get it's a spectrum, but some of the stuff we got to check in real time. So I posted that and I said that, that is exactly how all 7 of those Democrats should be approached. Same way with people that reopened the government, Chuck Schumer and all of them. We ain't forgot. We ain't forgot Chuckles. We ain't forgot, bitch. And they said, I said, the Democratic Party has been using, because we had Chase on recently, and Chase is on his anti-racist journey. It's been fantastic. And I noticed folks were trying to come at him, basically saying that, Don Davis is a black man, and they're coming at him, and you making a post about Don Davis is, yeah, sure, you can scrutinize him for his political choices, but just know as a white person, blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to cut all that shit off. And one of my allies that came into my comments was like, honestly, as someone who's on their journey, it's hard for me also to, really scrutinize marginalized people. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. It is not hard to scrutinize marginalized people. I said, it's not hard for you to scrutinize Clarence Thomas, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Herman Cain, Herschel Walker, you name it, right? It's not hard to scrutinize those people. It's that we believe in this binary that we have this team sports idea that, like, oh, well, the bad side, if there's clearly a person of color or a marginalized person on the abject, and we understand the Republican Party, the Republican organization, as I call them, because they're a dime storefront for a white nationalist movement. They're clearly objectively bad, right? You can't name to me one single right or one single policy that they have expanded for that helps the majority of all Americans. You can't do it. But if we believe that our side is good and we're too busy looking over here, we are not doing the maintenance. We are not. This is why people like Sherilyn Ifill, the fantastic lawyer, she was the part of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, shortlisted to be on the Supreme Court before Ketanji Brown Jackson. She would say civil rights law is democracy maintenance. It's kind of the same thing with inside the Democratic Party, right? Like, if you're too busy looking over there saying all the bashes over there, the white supremacy over there, the sexism over there, the homophobia is over there, you're never looking over here to see how much of it is here too. And what I had to explain to my ally, my comrade, who's on their journey, was that when we're trying to say that all the bad stuff's over there, we're forgetting that we are inside of a settler colonial project known as the United States of America that is an ongoing criminal enterprise that has more blood on its hands than any country we want to say is bad, and China and Russia. We have more blood on our hands than all those countries. And we've been here the least amount of time. As Audre Lorde said, we are citizens of the most powerful nation on the planet that has been on the wrong side of every struggle for liberation. Sit with that. That's what Audre Lorde said. So when I tried to break up from her, is like, in her mind, is to understand that if we're not doing that work here, we're just going to say, well, he's on my team, so he's okay. Don Davis, black man, I get it's hard for him. Sure, but when you're in a position of power and your vote, because the vote was 207 to 2, I have it here. The vote was originally It was 207 to 220. So those 7 Democrats, let's do the math here. Take 7, what's 220 minus 7? What is that? That's 213, right? Okay. So the Republicans would have 213. Take those 7 Democrats away. Now let's add those 7 to 207. What do you get? 214. Do you see how it's a bullshit line of thinking to be like, well, they're twisted around, they're in a purple district. Are you moral or not? And if you're immoral, I'm well within my rights as a human being to say, you got to go. Well, he's a black man. Well, he chose to use his black ass vote to help white supremacy. What you want me to do about that? Again, the vote was 207 to 220 to pass the ICE additional funding. If those 7 Democrats did not join that 220, that would leave the Republicans with 213. If they would have joined the 207, that would have been 214. Simple math. Not a mathematician here, folks. So when you hear this bad faith argument, just know these people are trying to defend themselves, defend their weakness, their milquetoastness, their jelly-like spines. But he deserves to be pressed like that. So does Don Davis and the rest of those 6. What's her name? Mary Glusenkamp Perez. She just has a video where she came out and was like, well, you don't know how hard it is, and we have to fight. Bitch, you voted for this. You voted for this. You did. So shut up. You just didn't expect it to snap back so quickly. Fuck off. We're going to end on a more positive note today, folks. Transitioning. And then we'll get to and you guys have it really live in the chat. Let's see before we get to my last 2 clips here. Steve said it before and I'll say it again. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Now that's an old Negro proverb, right? Because that's how we had to survive this. White America doesn't realize that we've been surviving y'all for the longest. We've always had infiltrators. We've always had sellouts. Remember, no group can be colonized on the planet without the presence of traitors. No one can. So we're talking about, oh, well, this country in Haiti, this country in South America, they're working with it. Yes, because there's traitors. Well, Venezuela, Maduro, and actually Maria Corina Machado, she's the traitor. She's in some other country saying, I'm the winner, and she's the traitor. I better wake up. Lorena, that's correct. Going back to MLK, I judge by the content of their character, and the content of their character is ass water. I'm not judging you for being white. I'm judging you because your character is racist. Your character is sexist. Your character is violent. Your character is shit. Lorena, may I ask what other podcast news sources you watch? Yeah, I'm always watching. You guys can't tell. I don't listen to too much other stuff besides news and whatnot. But also I read. I read a lot. So a lot of my stuff comes from, well, of course, books, but news sources and stuff are like The Majority Report. It's a great show to watch. It's about 2.5 hours a day. I don't watch it every day, but I try to catch bits and pieces of it. A good podcast is Straight White American Jesus. Fantastic, with Brad Onishi and Brad Onishi and Dan Miller, their co-host. Yeah, I mean, other stuff. Let me think. Higher Learning, Van Lathan, very good. We played him on this show before. So yeah, I mean, I try to get my stuff from different places. Native Land Pie a little bit, but not so much since Tiffany Cross has left. She was the voice of reason, I thought. But yeah, good question. Good question. Let's see. All right, last 2 clips. So y'all know I don't watch no sports. Me and sports are like oil and water. Do not go together. But I saw the clip of this brother, and I guess he's a big deal. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the chat. Steve, you see my you a sports guy. He's a big guy. Victor Wembanyama. Again, don't watch sports. Come at me later. Cool. I guess he's a big deal. He plays for the San Antonio Spurs. He's an immigrant, so he plays for the Spurs. And he was asked about what's going on, and I think this is a very honest and I think emotionally resonant response. And I just want to share it on this show.
PR has tried, but I'm not gonna sit here and give some politically correct. I know. I mean, every day I wake up and see the news, and I'm horrified. I think that it's crazy that some people might make it seem like, or make it sound like it's acceptable. The murder of civilians is acceptable. Every day, I mean, I read the news, and sometimes I'm asking very deep questions about my own life. But I'm conscious also that saying everything that's on my mind would have a cost that's too great for me right now. So I'd rather not get into too many details.
Is that kind of a big factor in this, that people have that fear that if they speak openly about an injustice they see, there can be repercussions?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's terrible. It's and, I know I'm a foreigner. I live in this country, and I am concerned for sure.
Is that part of your hesitance, being a foreigner? Does that play into your?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, so Victor Wembanyama, he's 7'6", I guess. It's very important that he's 7. I mean, he's a basketball player. I get it. Tall guy. And I'm jealous because I'm not even 6 feet. So, like, what's up with that? Like, why do you need all that height? Why do you need that height? But at least with the height comes with a big heart, some empathy, and concern for not just his life, but for other people around him. The NBA has always been out of all of the professional leagues. In fact, someone did a breakdown of the political affiliations of each league. And the NBA, of course, was like the most woke. The MLB, that's MAGA. That's MAGA through and through. Like the vast majority of people who play baseball are Republicans. The most woke, if you guys could guess, would be who? Let's see if the chat gets it. Who was the most votes for Democrats out of all the professional sports leagues? Let's see if anybody posts it. Let me give a couple seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The WNBA. The WNBA. Because as we know, the bluest of the blue is black women. Black women, and the WNBA is filled with black women that run up and down that court and sometimes kiss each other. So, like, yeah, it's blue. It's blue. And I guess he's also the #1 draft pick for San Antonio by the San Antonio Spurs, according to Steve. Again, don't follow it at all, and I don't feel bad about it even slightly. Yes, but the WNBA, the most blue of the blue, makes sense. But yeah, someone like that is, I think, is a when we talk about how immigrants are scary. The reason why is because I don't mind talking about the issue of immigration. The issue of immigration is very important to some people. I mean, it's a stolen fucking land. My people did not ask to be here, but yet we're fucking here. So when I hear a black person talk about illegal immigrants, it's like, wow, you're really in the sauce. But we could talk about it as an issue, but the problem is the way it's discussed. Writ large, it's discussed as an evil. It's discussed as an evil, not an issue, but an evil. An evil that is a moral stain, an evil that is poisoning the purity of society. That is, when you get caught up in that, like calling them illegal, what other crime can someone commit where all of a sudden that whole person becomes an illegal? Nothing. So when we have people using this violent language, this dehumanizing language, just know it's a part of that. Are they talking about it as an issue, or are they talking about it as an evil? And most people talk about it as an evil. But as I leave you guys today, And if you guys don't know, we're doing our later show, me and Rom, at 8:30 tonight. We're going to talk about these things with more in depth, with more topics. This is just me. Here is a candidate named Conrad Blackburn out of Harlem Shake. And he's running, and he's a DSA candidate, so Democratic Socialists of America, very similar to Zoran Mamdani, who is now the current mayor of New York. I just thought this was a good ad as we go out. But yeah, I'm going to play this here, and let me know what y'all think, and then we'll wrap up. I thought this was a really good video. Again, his name is Conrad Blackburn.
Everybody feels the pressure. Rent goes up, working class people move out, small businesses close down. Year after year, Harlem looks less like Harlem. How can we expect anything to change when you got a whole class of politicians who never felt the pressure a day in their life? See, your landlords don't just own your home, they own your politicians too. But they can't buy me, and we ain't gonna let them sell Harlem. My name is Conrad Blackburn. I was born under pressure. I lived in the projects. My mom hustled hard. Cops pressed me and harassed me just for being alive. That's why I became a public defender, to give my people the same quality of defense that rich people get. As a public defender in the Bronx, I won impossible wins by refusing to take no for an answer. I organized New York City Council to pass a law that abolishes solitary confinement in New York City jails. Now I'm running for New York State Assembly to bring the pressure to Albany. Hear me out. You deserve a government that invests in you. We are going to tax the rich to fund housing, universal health care, universal child care, and a city we can actually afford. Harlem, this campaign is for you. This is the capital of Black America, and we ain't leaving. Meet me on the corner of 125th and Lenox every Saturday. I'll be right here, and let your landlord and everyone else who's selling out Harlem know we outside.
There you have it. That's how you do it. Oh, that won't work in the South. People don't want childcare. People don't want health care. People don't want transit. People don't want education. People don't want lower cost of their living. What are we talking about? You have to sell it. If you don't sell it, someone else will sell their dream. What is power? The ability to rewrite reality and get someone else to believe it. Folks, it's been a fantastic Roots Rundown. I will be back tomorrow morning as well. If you guys can't catch our later show today, we're always recording. We're trying to put out content all the time. It's been fantastic. You know, I feel like I'm getting my sea legs under me now. I think this is episode like 12 or 10, maybe 10 or 12. I don't know. I think we cracked double digits. I think I'm getting better. I don't know. Y'all tell me. The chat's been lively. We've been gaining subscribers. We've been gaining people who have been joining the radical. We haven't have to have a name for the Roots community. Branches? I don't know. Root branches? I don't know. We'll come up with some ideas. We'll brainstorm some shit. But it's been fantastic, and thank you all for joining us. I feel like this is kind of where I need to be in this chapter of my life, chronicling it. You guys help me kind of do this therapy where I feel like I'm not going crazy, because we are people who have passion, and we have empathy, and we're compassionate. And when we see an injustice, going along with it is not okay. And there's more of us than there are of them. So, we got an idea. We got root heads. It's kind of like an oxymoron, like root head. I don't know. We'll play with it. Root heads, Lorena. Okay. All right. I'm listening. But no, thank you all for joining. And again, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Radical Roots podcast platform. It's how we stay independent. It's how we get the news directly through a Black and brown lens. And it's how we make sure that we just keep doing this thing and keep this platform going. So if you could just, throw us a couple bucks, it helps us out. It goes a long way. And we're doing the damn thing. And we plan on, keep bringing you this good stuff, because, care for people, defund the police, as my shirt says. People ask about my shirt. Care for people, defund the police. Please do that too. But no, it's been a great show. It's been fantastic talking to y'all today, and we will see y'all. If not tonight, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning.